Bad news. Canelo payday. You won payday. I know that he wanted to move up to cruiserweight to fight MacBook Air. I don't know. So MacBook just fought. A lot of people thought he lost the fight. We gonna talk about the bad news for the Canelo Man fans in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Oh man, 2022 is going to be an amazing year. I cannot wait for it. Hopefully you guys are charged up and ready for it. Please throw a like on the video if you guys like the content, and we need to talk about it. Canelo Alvarez payday shocked many people. It didn't shock me, but many people, they were shocked because Canelo said he moving up to cruiserweight, and people said, huh? Canelo at cruiserweight? That don't make sense. But this was announced at the WBC convention. Now, he was telling the world that the guy, Eddie Reynoso, and him were pretty much telling the world that the guy being considered was MacBook Air. You know, some guy from, I don't know where he's from. He's Ghana, Africa, right? And that guy just fought. Bad news. For starters, on the telecast, they did a tale of the tape that you guys see on the screen. This is MacBook, right? Under the age category, he was doing a rematch, Machunu rematch. Machunu in the first fight was stopped late, but he almost stopped MacBook early in the fight. And if you look at the age for Machunu, he's 33 years old. But for MacBook Air, this guy, the one that Canelo said he wanted to fight, his age was represented on the boxing telecast as NA, like it's not applicable. They don't even know how old he is. And this is the guy that the Canelo fans said was a great fight for Canelo to move up. Wow. So what is that? Like his age is NA? It's like, reminds me of wrestling, WWE or something, when guys like Brutus the Barber Beefcake or Papa Shango, when they were from parts unknown, that's what it reminds me of. So this is the guy that Canelo and his team said they wanted to fight. So the bad news is this: outside of his age being non-declared and saying N/A, the other issue is he did the rematch. He didn't stop the opponent like he did in the first fight. And many people who watched the fight said that MacBook Air won by robbery. It was a Don King card, and they said it was a robbery with how it played out. And they thought Machunu did enough to avenge himself and should have beaten MacBook Air. This is who Canelo Alvarez and his team said that they wanted to fight. So fast forward to the future. This is a bad look because people already met this fight with resistance because we know what it is. Yes, you could say, oh, it's danger. Oh, yes, you could say that the cruiserweight MacBook, he called out Canelo, says, don't come up to my weight, I'll knock you out, yada, yada, yada. But the bad thing is, on top of MacBook Air being an unheralded name that American audiences really are not familiar with, on top of that fact, you have an issue where he's coming off a performance where many people thought it was a robbery and the wrong guy won. So if Canelo Alvarez now decides to fight this guy, that's going to show you about, you know, Canelo's true ambitions. I know Canelo and his team and his fans, let them tell it. He's the face of boxing and he's making the pertinent moves. But to fight an unknown guy, right? Unknown. It was already met with resistance. And then on top of that, now the guy's coming off a performance where he didn't even particularly look great. I don't see how that would be justified. People have wanted to see Canelo Alvarez fight guys like David Benavidez and Jermall Charlo. So for Canelo, if he chooses MacBook after that performance, then again, that's going to show you what he feels. And he feels he's able to do whatever he wants in the sport of boxing. I truly believe that, because it just doesn't make sense. It's not a big event. It's not a known commodity. The guy's not coming off an exciting performance. A lot of people thought the guy lost. So if Canelo says, hey, you know, this is the space where I want to move up to cruiserweight, you know, it's not going to be received well. Now, Eddie Reynoso also said this, and this is another thing that hurts Canelo's case. So I told you the walls are closing in for Canelo Alvarez. Payday. You want payday. Eddie Reynoso, longtime friend and trainer of Canelo Alvarez. This is what he said, quote, I think Jermall Charlo fight with Canelo is more media friendly because Jermall Charlo is a fighter that sells more than the Russian fighter Artur Beterbiev. Jermall Charlo's a fighter that more people follow, and because of that, it's a more attractive fight. End quote. So this is Canelo's own trainer making statements like that, which goes against what old media and the Canelo man fans have suggested. They've suggested that Charlo was not worthy of a fight with Canelo Alvarez, and Charlo needed to do more, and Charlo doesn't fight anybody, and a bunch of name calling and so on and so forth. So we'll see. I hope Canelo picks Charlo. I think that's about the biggest fight of the rumor names, but I don't see how MacBook Air should even be into consideration, all things considered. You know, even the Dimitri Bivol fight, Dimitri Bivol, he doesn't have like a huge profile, I wouldn't say, but certainly bigger than MacBook. So that would probably be the worst. At least there's probably a handful of hardcore boxing fans that have wanted to see Bivol and Canelo, and definitely Charlo versus Canelo. But to come out of left field with names like MacBook Air and knowing nobody has really requested that fight, that's just something the WBC, Eddie, Reynoso, and Canelo have plotted. And then to, as I stated, his last performance was forgettable, and a lot of people thought he lost, and they don't even know his age. It's just going to be an L. So per usual, I'm doing my job. I cannot wait to see what is decided and who Canelo decides to fight. But if it's some BS, then you'll know what it is, and you'll know why that was selected. But I think the walls are closing in for Canelo to make the right choice and really entertain. And, you know, Canelo, he wants to continue getting the pay, I would imagine, that he's been getting, things like that. So in the sport of boxing, this is entertainment. This is competition. You got to produce that. You got to produce that by having events that people want to see. I think Canelo Charlo, there's no problem. You know, people that will sell. People want to see it. The only slight issue that I have with it is the mere fact that I really think there were more opportune times for Canelo to have faced Jermall Charlo as opposed to him coming off the Montiel performance. But that's another video. All in all, it's still a much better fight than guys like MacBook Air coming off the performance he's off of, things like that. And they don't even know his age to input his correct age. I mean, it's just, what are we talking about? Bad news for the Canelo fans. More information coming. You don't want to miss anything on YouTube. Boxingego, the latest and greatest. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing out. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.